Well, you can step on out now.
I don't have to step out of my car.
Step out of the car.
And it's a case that puts the relationship between law enforcement and the public in the crosshairs. What do you have to do when you're pulled over? Well, good evening. I'm Lindsay Adams in for Jackie Parks.
And on Tim Callahan, video of that woman pulled from her car in Texas by law enforcement has now sparked the question, what are your rights when you're pulled over by police? Not only that, but when do you have to comply with an officer's order or request? 23 ABC's Laura Acevedo live with more on your rights when dealing with the police. Laura?
Now, we've all felt the anxiety of being in this situation, being pulled over by a police officer. But do you know what to do, and do you know what your rights are?
Don't touch me. I'm not under arrest. You don't have the right to take me.
You are under arrest.
We've all seen the videos on social media. Officers being recorded while conducting a traffic stop and drivers at times being defiant with the officer's commands. The most recent example involving Sandra Bland has left many wondering, what are your rights during a traffic stop?
If the officer asks you identifying information, you have to identify yourself. But aside from that, personal questions about where you're going, where you're coming from, those sorts of questions, you should not respond to any of those. And you don't have to respond to any of those questions.
So how should you respond to those questions?
I talked to his attorney. He told me that I shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't answer any of the officer's questions. And so I'm not trying to be defiant, not trying to be rude. But I just want to follow that attorney's advice and not say anything.
Legally, an officer can force you to get out of the vehicle, even if it is for a minor traffic infraction.
It's best to just not escalate things. If an officer asks you to get out, or even if he's placing you under arrest, it's best not to resist, because things can escalate and often not in your favor.
The Bakersfield Police Department also says you should always follow the officer's commands during a traffic stop, and if you feel you are being treated unfairly, settle it in court in the future.
And what we see happening in many of these cases is, well, we want to take this to court right here in the middle of the street, and that's not the appropriate place to do it.
BPD and the attorney I spoke to say the best thing to do is always follow the officer's orders and never escalate the situation. Lindsay, back to you.